All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for coming out. Let me start off by talking about Russ Anderson Day this Saturday. We, as well as everybody else in Conference USA, will be wearing RDA stickers on our helmets, celebrating the life of Russ Anderson. You know, last April, we lost Russ, the conference lost Russ, and, they've inducted him into the Hall of Fame, which I think is well-deserved. I'm very thankful I got a chance to get to know Russ a little bit and see his love for Conference USA. And the thing that was always evident to me about Russ is whether it was for a student athlete, a coach, or anybody covering the conference, he would just go above and beyond for them at all times. He, again, loved this conference, and Russ is missed, and I'm glad we're getting a chance to honor him. Going back to the Western Kentucky game, Tyson's done a great job at Western Kentucky. I think the best thing he's done is recruiting Bailey Zappi. Bailey's a phenomenal football player. I knew how good he was going into the game, but watching him in person, he was phenomenal with the timing of getting the ball out to the decisions he made. And he's a scrappy dude as well. So made a lot of plays. I think we knew this going into the game that, we would have a very small margin for error when you're playing against one of the best offenses in college football. And every mistake you make against those guys, they're going to expose you. And we didn't execute well enough to come out on the other side with a win. So again, we're moving forward, and we've talked to the team about how important this game is, how excited we are to get the opportunity to go in to the Sun Bowl and play Coach Dimmel's team this weekend. So extremely excited for this opportunity, excited for this team to get another chance to play. They've worked really hard for a few weeks now, and I am thrilled they get an opportunity to play again. And I hope we get to come out the other side so they can get paid for all their hard work. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Another opportunity to play with this team, another opportunity for us to take another step forward with our super seniors. With that, I'll open up for any questions.
Coach, if you could talk a little bit about the two guys coming up next. Aidan Siano, young guy kind of coming up, and Cam, kind of the opposite, has been here as long as anybody. Yeah,
so Aiden is a guy that we saw on recruiting film and fell in love with instantly, like sideline to sideline, making plays. My concerns with recruiting Aiden were never if he was good enough. It was like, will we be able to hold on to him throughout the whole recruiting process? And we were able to get him and his family to fall in love with this place and this team. And I'm so thankful that he's here. I'm thankful to see his role grow pretty much every week of the season to the point where he's now a starter for us. And really excited for him to be in that role all week in practice and then get to see the results against what we know is going to be a physical offensive line from UTEP. You know, those guys are going to come off the ball and they're going to have running backs kind of raging at you. So we're going to need Aiden and Dez to play their butts off along with that defensive line. And one thing we know about UTEP is they do a great job making all 11 play on defense. Everybody on the field for you is going to have to tackle. They're going to make your corner have to tackle. They're going to make your safeties tackle repeatedly. And that's fine. That's what we're going to sign up for. But again, so many of those runs will be inside, and our D-line and our linebackers will be a key. So looking forward to seeing Aiden, like I said, after a full week of practice. With Cameron, Cameron has come so far in our program. You know, he's kind of been like the evolution as things upticked, and certainly he's had some speed bumps in the road in his career. But I'm so thankful for who he is today. I'm thankful for the player he's become. He's a guy that wants more, and he wants more for our team. He wants more for himself, and not in a selfish way. He's just like, how can I help? And you got a chance to see him have some carries in the last game and make something out of nothing on a couple of them. You know, a few games ago, you saw him extend out, motion out of the backfield, beat his man, and make what would have been an unbelievable catch in the end zone. Unfortunately, you know, he did step out of bounds, but gosh, what a play. Probably the best non-catch of the year. And he just keeps growing, and his leadership is awesome. He's a positive in the locker room all the time. And just, again, a guy that's really fully bought into what we're doing here. And you just see his growth along with our team's growth.
Hey, Coach, you know, you talk about Zappi, and everybody knows how good he is. He put up all those passing yards, but you guys had 380 yards passing. Another 4 interceptions kind of hurt a little bit. But talk about the, progression of your passing game and August coming up with big game and Cedric Patterson, and, you got some good receivers that you can go to.
We do. It's been great to have August back these last few weeks. And statistically, he had a great game. But that was far from his best game. The drops and the fumble, those things kind of taint his performance on Saturday. Again, not his potential, but they taint his performance. And we've got to get him to be more consistent, to protect the ball and catch everything, because he's so capable. August has a chance to become a dominant receiver. And so it's great to have him in the lineup. Ced Patterson, again, you saw him catch the post for the touchdown and make sure he got his feet in. That was good. The most consistent receiver we've had, for a month now, and he's playing at such a high level, is Jake Bailey. Jake Bailey is taking advantage of every opportunity that comes in front of him, and he's making defenses pay to the point where in critical situations, he's getting doubled a lot right now, and sometimes still finding a way to win, or sometimes taking those doubles and giving guys on the outside an opportunity to be one-on-one and win their matchup as well. So all those receivers are playing well. They're doing some good things. Yeah, I think the story of the game was the turnovers. The way that we needed to beat them, or could have beat Western Kentucky, was to play clean. And we need our defense to get some turnovers. Our defense got 4 turnovers. That's a heck of a deal. That should be a big swing, but not when you have 5 as an offense. So again, if we couldn't play cleaner and get that level of turnovers from our defense and those extra possessions, I think we'll have a chance to do some really cool things.
Hey, Coach, I was reading about Dave Warner. He's got the Michigan State ties. I don't want to assume anything, but a lot of the blue collar things we think, you've alluded to some of that, but between the tackles, discuss their offense and how his influence kind of plays out there.
Yeah, I don't know Coach Warner well. What I do know is Dana Dimmel. And I remember when Dana was at Kansas State and I was at Stanford, and we speak at a lot of the same offensive line clinics. I remember speaking at some NFL ones together. Like, he's a guy that's got a great background. He wants to pound the rock. He wants to control the clock, and he wants to play great defense. So it's going to be a great challenge. Their offense is very similar to UAB's in this way, right? They're going to run the ball. And then they're going to take the deep shots over the top. And we've got to do a great job keeping the lid on number 6. He's an outstanding receiver. And but the biggest thing for us will be, even though we know it's like UAB, it's going to be more gap runs. It's not going to be as much living in the outside zone world as UAB did. So we're going to have things coming downhill that we got to do a great job fitting up. As I said before, they're going to make everybody in your program tackle, and we're going to step up and do that. And then we got to do a good job keeping the lid on those receivers on the deep shots.
Bloom, you mentioned the turnovers being something you want to get rid of and do less of, but offensively as a whole, 4 games in a row, 20+ points, kind of putting up numbers after a couple slower starts at the beginning of the year. Do you kind of feel like y'all have found an identity on that side of the ball, or at least it's playing out closer to how you want it to?
Yeah, closer. Again, it's hard to say, but for the turnovers, but definitely that's the case. Like, if we can play clean, and we talk to these guys every week, we're going to give them keys to victory from the coordinators, and the first one offensively always is going to be take care of the ball. And when you do that, you give yourself a chance to win. And when you don't, unfortunately, when you have 5 turnovers, it's going to be very difficult no matter who you're playing, but especially a great team. But I am pleased. I think Coach Tui's doing an unbelievable job with the creativity of the offense. I think he's done a good job getting multiple quarterbacks ready to play. And now he's got Jake in a pretty good place. And I think with this week of practice and getting Jake all those reps again, with the protections, with the any run checks you got, and just the ability to live those concepts time and time again, whether it's something from empty, whether it's something from 3x1, just living those things one more time, and Tui getting a chance to really coach them and drive them home, knowing that our receivers are doing a good job making those plays down the field. That's what's given us a lot of comfort. Also, I feel like we're running the ball a little bit better, certainly more efficiently, and that's helping. Now, again, we could use some more explosive plays, and we've got to create those, and we're going to continue to work towards those.
Hey, Coach, injuries are part of the game, as we all know. But, losing George and Trayshawn Chamberlain, 2 vital parts of the defense. How does that y'all affected y'all's defense this year with those 2 out?
Yeah, Richard, I know it's part of college football. Like, we all say that. We always say next man up because we have to live that way. And Aidan Siano is such a great example of a guy stepping in for an injured player, and hopefully there's 0 drop off, and if any. And that's what we hope for. But the reality is 4 of our preseason starters in the secondary aren't here right now. And that's tough, but it's college football. And sometimes you have more injuries in some years than others. And hey, we're going to keep going forward. And I am pleased at some of the growth of guys that we've had jump in there at the safety position, like Kirk Lockhart having a more expanded role, Gabe Taylor, those guys at the safety spots. Naeem's playing out of position, but he's doing anything the coaches ask, and he's getting those guys organized. So is it tough? Absolutely. It's tough. But again, I think the fact that we're getting these guys experience will pay dividends down the road. And they're going to be one game better this week with another good week of practice.
Coach, do you see UTEP as kind of maybe being similar to how y'all play? I mean, you both like to pound the rock and, take the pass when you can. And you both, I guess you guys are like 1 or 2, I think, in the league, or pretty close to that in time of possession. Is it a similar team to y'all?
Yeah, I think Coach Dimmel sees winning championships the same way I do. I think he's had success doing it, whether it was at whatever level of football he's been at. When he's won, we've talked about this before, that's kind of the formula. And so, if we're able to do those things, and yeah, it's interesting. I think both of us are over 35 minutes time of possession. So something's going to have to give in this game, right? One of us is going to lose that battle. But in any case, yeah, I think we see the game very similarly. And probably because of our backgrounds, both being at the offensive line spot, we love the ability to control the game that way.
And their defense is top 30 in the country. What stands out? I remember you telling me earlier in the week about their safeties being out too. So what stands out conceptually with Coach Pivoto's defense? Yeah,
I think that, again, both safeties that started the year for him, one of the safeties, number 5, is still leading the team in tackles. So that tells you that, that's probably a little drop off for them at the safety position. But again, those guys have stepped in now for a month, and they're doing a good job for their secondary. So the thing that makes their defense go is their defensive line. They've got a kid from Praise, from Katy Taylor High School right down the road. He's got 5.5 sacks on the year, I believe. He's always making a difference rushing the passer. But those 2 behemoths that they have inside, number 7 is doing such a good job for them, Kelton Moss, and number 54, Keenan Stewart. Those guys are just they're playing at a really high level. They're not just run stoppers. They're violent off blocks, and they're doing a heck of a job in the middle for them. And that's what allows them to stop the run right now. On the outside, their corners are fast, long, linear guys that are making plays on the ball when it's in the air. So they're going to make everything difficult. I think Coach Bradley Del Pivito has a great background, whether you talk about his time as a head coach at Northwestern State to even you see things from his last stop being at Texas A&M with Mike Elko. You see so many similarities to the way that they're structuring the defense in a field under front with some of the stuff that everything looks the same. And then when the ball turns over, it's a single backer dog with the safety adding into the box as a run fitter. And that's what makes it hard, is the fact that everything looks the same for them. They're actually doing a really good job dazzling people with dance and not pressuring much. And so, again, they're standing toe to toe with people. And I think it's largely because of those defensive linemen.
Anything else for Coach?
No, thanks, Coach.
Thank you all. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Okay, let's bring up Aiden here, Aidan Siano.
How's everybody doing today?
Hi,
I just want to
Aiden.
say thank you guys for having me. It's my first presser. This is definitely a much different experience than high school and things like that, but I'm excited. So whatever you guys got for me, let's do it.
All right, Aiden, why don't you talk just walk back and what the emotions were like having that first start and then now building on that moving forward.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that first start was something that, it was everything I could have asked for. I mean, it was a lot of fun. I was definitely nervous going into the game, and definitely just kind of on Thursday, whenever I got that news, definitely a little nervous. I was a little anxious going into it, but it was a lot of fun. And, I mean, the way that I was put in that starting role, was kind of a bummer, seeing Antonio Montero go down. He's somebody that's been such a great mentor to me, and has just been like a big brother to me ever since ever since I committed to come play here. And so he's been so awesome, and seeing him go down was a bummer, but he's been such a good support guy for me ever since I was put in that role. and I'm just very appreciative of him. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Definitely wish the game could have gone a little bit differently, but yeah, it was a blast, and I'm just blessed to be in this role.
Okay, we'll open for questions.
You played some big boy high school ball up there in Dallas. Obviously, a lot of that's going to lend to your relatively early success here. What have you think you've done to make it a pretty seamless? I know it's hard still, but the seamless transition that you've tried to make it.
Yeah, I mean, playing 6A Division I and Division II football in North Texas is definitely a challenge week in and week out. I mean, you got guys that are going Power 5, going to play college football every single week, and you got guys that aren't, that are still studs. So I mean, that the school that I went to in Prosper definitely prepared me well, and then just the preparation level for those games, and then the physicality of those games definitely definitely the speed of a college football game is definitely different, but it's not as much of a change as I really expected it to be. So definitely prepared really, really well with playing the high school football that I did.
What's it been like for? Go ahead, Richard.
Okay, thanks. Aiden, you kind of mentioned, a little bit nervous, but like JP said, you played big boy football before, but now it's going to be your second game. What do you think? You're going to be more at ease in playing it coming up this week.
Definitely, yeah. Just like Coach Bloomgren alluded to, like just having that full week in that role, just to prepare and to know from day one that I'm going to be in that role. And this game is going to be a little bit of a different kind of game. It's going to be more of a pound the rock team. And as a linebacker, those are the games that you really, really look forward to. Just be able to come downhill and make plays. And so, yeah, it's going to be. I'm definitely going to be a lot more loose in this game and be more confident and going to make a lot more plays. So I'm excited for it.
I know you and the class that just came in were pretty close, especially in the linebacker room. I know a couple of those guys moved to safety, but what's it been like kind of coming up together? And y'all got your first start, a couple of guys getting to see a lot more of the field now than maybe back in September.
It's been awesome. Like those guys are awesome, and they're awesome guys to share the linebacker room with and share the field with. I mean, our class just as a whole really just gelled right away. I mean, none of us knew each other really, really well whenever we came in, but after that official visit weekend, we were like a family already. So definitely the support I got from those guys from getting my first start this weekend, they were all so excited for me and things like that. And that made it just so much more fun and so much more exciting to be put in that role. And I'm really excited for some of those guys to become, have bigger roles and be able to do more for this team as well. So yeah, those guys are killing it, and I'm really excited for them and definitely love those guys.
Anything you've seen from UTEP on offense that you really respect?
I mean, the run game. I mean, the time of possession. I mean, we're going to be on the field a lot, and it's up to us, to get the ball out and put the ball in our offense's hands in advantageous, situations. And yeah, I mean, just running to the ball, flying around, and making plays. And it's going to be a really big challenge for us, but I think we're ready for it.
And then turnovers are obviously nice. Y'all forced several last weekend. Anything that y'all think you have kind of found in that vein to be able to make those game-changing plays a little bit more often?
I mean, it sounds really simple, but just swarming and flying to the ball. And I mean, whenever somebody has somebody wrapped up, the next person coming in and trying to get it out. And it's just, so much of turnovers come from just sheer effort and just running to the ball and getting there and never thinking the play's over until it's over. And I think we did a pretty decent job of that last week with the 4 turnovers that we did cause. But I think there's still room for improvement. Whenever we watch that film, there's still, some plays where not everybody gave the best effort. Not everybody got to the ball in that play. And those are just more chances for turnovers whenever we do that. So that's going to be a big point of emphasis for us this week is just getting to the ball and getting the ball out and giving it back to our offense.
Anything else for Aiden? All right, thank you, sir. Nice job.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, we'll bring up Cameron Montgomery. All right, Cam, you heard what Coach Bloomgren had to say, and I know it's been a journey to get back on the field and everything, but just talk a little bit about how you evaluate both the journey and what you've done with your opportunities this year.
Well, first, I just want to say how you guys doing today, and thank you for having me. And to talk about what Coach Bloom mentioned, I'll just say that, sometimes things take time, and in that moment, I needed some time. And just moving forward, I really tried to have a positive mindset, work as hard as I could, and I didn't want to look back at the past at any hiccups or speed bumps. And the hard work brought me to where I am today.
Open up for questions.
Hey, Cam, for a guy your size, you really pack a wallop. Nate and I were talking on the broadcast. Kind of for your first time talking to us here, just describe your style, and it seems like you still really take it between the tackles and take it to the defense still.
Yeah, I believe that my style of play is a physical style of play, and especially with me being a smaller guy, it's kind of, you see all the posts or you see whatever people are talking about, but you kind of ignore it. And especially with the brand of football we play here at Rice University, with the intellectual brutality, I definitely had to embody that and come with my best every game and make sure that I'm not losing my 111th each week.
Did you even notice at any point during this game that you kind of had looks like a career high in touches, career high in yards after being here for a good long while?
Honestly, it didn't even occur. I'm not too much into the stats. I'm more so into doing the best that I can for my teammates and my coaches and just expanding on any opportunity they give me and trying to do my best for my teammates.
How frustrating was it that the long catch, no catch down the sideline a couple games ago got overturned?
To be honest, honestly, it didn't even frustrate me at all. It's a bummer that it was out. Everybody wants that touchdown, but that was just a spark in that game that my team needed. And I was luckily able to be there to make that play. And I'm happy that I was able to make that play and kind of spark something because our offense scored that drive. So just did my job.
Hey, Cam, can you talk a little bit about, last few games, the offense is progressing, early in the season, didn't, move the ball as well, but just talk about the offense in general and how you guys are, doing a lot better now.
I believe with this offense, just day in and day out, seeing the guys come in and go to work every week, it's college football. Every week you're not going to, have the greatest game of your life. But if you can come back and work every week and continue to perfect your craft and continue to go through the scheme and continue to just practice and work together and practice hard throughout the weeks of the season with the same guys over and over, I believe that you're obviously going to have some progression. And what we've done is pretty nice, and I look forward to keep going. And
looks like there's some pretty good depth in the backfield. Talk about that.
The backfield, I love the depth in the backfield, man. Those are my guys. We have a group chat. We go by the Duffy Boys, man. So Duffy Boys usually carry money in a duffel bag. So I just think that's kind of the character of our room. Coach Picasso's done a great job with, providing us like a prop. Whenever you do something good or if you have a great week or a great game, you come in and you get the duffel bag full of Monopoly money, man. So I can just shout out Jumo Toviano, Ari Broussard, Kalen Griffin, Brian Hibbert, Harry Wood, Jerry Johnson, Brendan Suckley, and it's the whole room, man. I just shout those guys out, and I'm happy to be in there with them.
Well, who got the duffel bag this past week?
Really, I give the duffel bag to the whole room because it was all hands on deck because multiple guys got in and had chances to play. So I would just say I would commend our group's performance and say that we all earned that duffel bag this week. And we're looking forward to having all hands on deck moving forward.
Yeah, what is the team mentality these last two games? Coach mentioned you as a leader, one of the older guys, but still you've got some time left. And what do y'all stress on and focus these last two games to try to get to those 5 wins?
These last 2 games, we're just focusing on going on 1-0 each week. So if we can continue to go 1-0 each week, we'll finish out the 5 games. So 1-0.